Hello, my name is Anneshia Freeman. I'm also known as the locksmith because I make keys for locks in the mind. I'm a master's level therapist, and my specialty is cognitive restructuring, meaning I introduce people to dysfunctional, unconscious beliefs that make decisions for them without their conscious awareness. I also provide people with tools, real tools to help them reprogram their minds with functional beliefs. I decided to jump on live on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel to talk about a chapter in my book entitled What's Really Going On. So, the title of the chapter is The Non-Negotiable Goal. Now, I wrote this book years ago between 2011 and 2012. This book contains 31 articles that were featured in a biweekly column that I had at the time in a multicultural newspaper. So this chapter rather talks about what happens when a person adds the non-negotiable criterion to a goal. I'm also a motivational speaker, and I created a presentation based on that topic. So I'm going to share the presentation with you now. Over 22 years ago, I was one of the most notoriously known drug addicts in the city of Detroit. I made the other people on drugs feel good about themselves. People would look at me and say, if I ever get like that, I'm going to get some help. And I would reply, can I use your lighter? No, can I use that cigarette lighter? You're not using that lighter, you're talking. See, there was a point in my active addiction when I crossed from abuse into dependency, when the drugs became synonymous with oxygen. It wasn't like, I might breathe today. No, I must breathe today and by any means necessary. That is when the non-negotiable criterion became attached to the goal of getting high, the self-destructive goal of getting high. On August the 7th of the year 2000, I was standing in front of a crack motel. And I heard a voice deep inside of me say, leave now, right now, or die here. I didn't hear a audible voice. I heard a voice deep inside of me said, leave now. The grace that's been covering your life is being lifted today. I walked away. I left that day. I had on a pair of shorts, a tank top, and a pair of flip-flops. That was all. That was everything I owned in this world. But I also left with something very valuable. I left with 15 years of experience meeting a goal every day that had the non-negotiable criterion attached to it. When I entered the recovery process, I decided to pursue some education goals. I somehow intuitively knew that I would be standing in proxy for people who had been written off as incorrigible. You know, the people who society says have gone down so far they cannot be helped. So that meant I had to finish my education goals and I had to finish strong. That is when I added the non-negotiable criterion to my education goals. I'm going to share 3 principles that are embedded in a non-negotiable goal. I'm going to compare and contrast how I use those goals or those principles in active addiction and how I use them in the recovery process to complete 4 college degrees. Before I start, let me make this point. I am not proud of anything I did in active addiction. Addiction is some supersonic, double jointed, bionic bondage, and I am so grateful to be free. Principle number 1, when a goal is non-negotiable, other people's opinions of you in the pursuit of the goal become irrelevant. I remember in active addiction one day, one of the drug dealers decided to do a lengthy monologue on what a disgusting piece of trash he thought I was. And when he got done speaking, I looked him straight in his eyes and I said, "Can I have one on credit until tomorrow?" See, the whole time he was talking, I was thinking, this person is a potential resource, a resource that can help me in the pursuit of my goal. You know, that self-defeating goal. In the recovery process at the university, I had some excellent professors. I had some wonderful classmates. I also had some professors and some classmates that shared their negative assessments of me with their facial expressions, vocal tone, voice inflection, and body language. But I entered the classroom every day that I went with the attitude that everyone in here is a resource, a potential resource to help me meet my goal. I'm a resource. They're a resource. It would be nice. It would have been nice if they had liked me, but it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary to complete the goal. Principle number 2, when the goal is non-negotiable, your feelings about the process to accomplish the goal become irrelevant. I remember one day in active addiction, I was walking down the street, Woodward Avenue in Detroit. I walked past a restaurant that specialized in fried chicken. My stomach was screaming. I hadn't eaten in days. And they had a special, 2 pieces and a biscuit, $1.99. I had $30 in my pocket. My stomach was like, please. I said, not today. This money is for the goal. I was able to ignore those feelings of hunger because they had nothing to do with the goal. I remember in the recovery process, the last year of my second master's degree, I was working full time, going to school full time, and doing an internship. My body was like, please. I was like, not tonight. You will not be going to sleep tonight. You're going to have to pull an all-nighter because you have a 30-page paper due tomorrow. You get some sleep tomorrow, but not tonight. Principle number 3, when a goal is non-negotiable, you face adversity, opposition, and problems with a solution-focused thought process. In active addiction, there was a lot of obstacles and adversity that stood in between me and meeting that self-defeating goal. At one point, there was a serial killer in Detroit, in the area where I hung out at. He had killed 17 women in that area. It wasn't like I was in denial that he was out there. I would be in my hotel room, getting ready to go out to try to find resources to meet my goal. And I would be practicing how I would handle him if I encountered him because he was choking women to death. I would be in my hotel room practicing what I would do if I encountered him because the goal was non-negotiable. In the recovery process, I had a goal to complete all of my degrees summa cum laude. Remember, I intuitively knew that I was standing in proxy for people who had been written off as incorrigible. So there were some professors who were notoriously known for grading real hard. There were professors who bragged that they didn't give A's. But I was determined to graduate summa cum laude. See, in active addiction, when I went out there to obtain those resources, when the serial killer was out in the area, I had the attitude, he just hasn't met the right one yet. I had that same attitude in recovery at the university when I heard that some professors didn't give A's. My attitude was, they haven't met the right one yet. I did reconnaissance. I found other students who had taken those professors' classes in previous semesters, and I interviewed them. I asked them how the professors thought, how they graded, because I was determined to graduate summa cum laude. It was non-negotiable. So because I use those three principles that are embedded in a non-negotiable goal, I was able to complete a degree in computer applications technology, summa cum laude, a degree in business, summa cum laude, a master's degree in business administration, summa cum laude, and a master's degree in social work, summa cum laude. So I want to encourage you, if you're watching this video, this is the time of year, December, where a lot of people start making their goal list for the next year. I encourage you to add the non-negotiable criterion to your goals and use the principles that I discussed in this video. If you're interested in my book, you can download it immediately on Amazon Kindle. It's available immediately. I'm out of stock with the paperbacks. I will be back. These will be back in stock in January, along with volume 2. This is volume 1 of my book, What's Really Going On. I will release volume 2 in January, and I will have both copies in paperback. But right now, you can obtain this book on Amazon Kindle immediately. I'll put the link in the comments. I'll also put a picture of the cover of volume 2. So a couple of the chapters that are in volume 2 are sweat equity versus sunk costs, the exit, the parameters of purpose. If you're coming, keep up. And the mind thieves. There's 33 chapters. And in all of those chapters, all of those articles have been featured. We're also featured in that bi-weekly column by the same name, What's Really Going On. So hopefully I'll see you again in one of my other Facebook Live series. Have a good day.